This is Big Poppy Racing.
Welcome back. It's yellow bracket time. This is the fourth and final bracket. The top 8 cars will advance to the 32-car double elimination tournament. Here's our yellow bracket laid out. Same as the other 3 brackets, seeded by points. And everyone has a car in this bracket, so everyone will have a chance to advance to the final 32 tournament. This has been very exciting. We've really had fun with this. And folks, I can tell you the 32-car tournament is going to be something else. So let's finish up and we'll get started racing. So here's the field laid out side by side. Of course, the gaps are the buys for the top car in each 4 sections of the bracket. This promises to be a really good bracket, and it will not disappoint, folks. This has been the best fat track free-for-all I think I've done in the 4 games, so we have had a really good time with it. Now that you know who's in, let's get started. First up, H-Town Hustler's sidekick, Big Al's Custom Jeepster. Down they go into the corner. They're tangled a little bit. Looks like the sidekick is able to stop the Jeepster for a moment. And if he can finish the track, he will. The sidetrack takes the first heat, and with the Jeepster coming in right after. Here's heat 2. This time the sidekick goes through 1. Through 2, he beat the Jeepster there. The Jeepster looks like it's come up on an edge, and the sidekick will advance 2-0. First, the Jeepster, who had come up on the edge. The second race, Team DRT 3K Turbulence and Booga Basements 56 Aston Martin. Looks like the Turbulence is through turn 1, through turn 2, and he's navigating well all the way through turn 3. And then here comes the Aston Martin to finish second. So right now, the Turbulence up 1-0. Heat 2. Turbulence again, the first to the curve. Manages 1, manages 2. He's doing a good job on the curves. 3, and he will go on to a 2-0 win over the Aston Martin, who is sightseeing, it looks like. He's sightseeing. Next up is Captain K's Honda Sprocket, and Just for Luck's Ferrari. Here they go down into the first corner. The Sprocket's ahead, goes through 1 successfully, navigates 2, doing a good job side to side, slows down the Ferrari, tries to catch him but cannot pass. Sprocket 1-0. Here's heat 2. This time the Sprocket's out well ahead in the first corner. He goes through 2. The Ferrari trying to catch up, loses control out of 2. The Sprocket will advance 2-0 to the next round. Here's Big Rami's Dodge Murata and the Button Boys Honda Civic. The Murata down first through the curve. Goes from one side to the other of the track through 2. Comes around 3, hits hard down, but does take the first heat, 1-0. Swap lanes, here we go. The Murata again the first into the curve. And he is ridden up on the side, so here comes the Honda Civic SI. If he can navigate, and he does, and he will tie it, 1-1. See our Murata's over here. He's came up on his edge. So here's the bumper heat. Whoever wins advances, loser goes home. This time the Murata controls out of 1, out of 2, and is going to walk off and 2-1 over the Honda. Next up, Wobbly Bob and the Jackhammer against Uncle Elvis and his Studebaker pickup. So Wobbly Bob doing really well with that Ford pickup in the last round, gets through 3 corners, and his Jackhammer will take a 1-0 lead over the pickup. Swap lanes, here we go. This time the Jackhammer's again into turn 1 first. Gets through 1, navigates 2, slides a little bit, but so is the pickup. And he will take it 2-0 and advance on. Next on, Troy Racing's Power Rocket and Overclocked Racing's Shelby GT 500. Power Rocket through 1, now through 2. Shelby hanging tight, but just not able to pass. So the Rocket goes up 1-0. Here we go for heat 2. Power Rocket comes through 1, comes through 2, and it's going to do 3 and take 2-0 to the next round. Next up, it's Mr. Mom Bubba's Mercedes and Rusty Rod's 71 Plymouth GTX. Mr. Mom Bubba's Mercedes goes through 1 through 2, helps the Plymouth off the track onto the skirt, and now we go for Heat 2, 1-0 for the Mercedes. This time the Plymouth gets through, and it's not going to be able to chase him down. The Mercedes advances 2-0. Metal Mania 3Ds, Porsche 911, and Rio Rides 15 Ford Mustang. The Mustang off to a quick start. Through 1. Here they go through 2. Good maneuvering, staying well. He likes to lost a little bit, but he will finish and go up 1-0 as the Porsche came off onto the curtain or onto the cushion. Mustang out of 1. Ahead goes around 2. He takes it 2, dives down. Here's 3, and the Mustang will advance 2 on to the next round. Next up, Mr. BFG's Ferrari F40 and R&R Riker's Medieval, however you want to talk to it. The F-140 bounces him and stops him from passing, so the Ferrari goes up 1-0 on the Medieval. And here is race 2. The Ferrari to the corner first and through. If he can stay out there, and the Medieval tries to mess with him, but it's unsuccessful, and the Ferrari will advance on. Next up, Gen X's Ferrari Modena and 7th ID's VW Volkswagen. Here's this Modena is off and gone. If he can maneuver, Modena, the low, heavy car for the size of it. He's up 1-0, and here we go with Heat 2. Through 1, no problem. Through 2, no problem. Oh, he spins around, but he's able to save it. Comes around, and he will advance 2-0 as the Volkswagen gets hung up in the third curve. Next up, Your Nightmare Racing's Datsun 280Z and Aces High Jaguar F-Type. Through 1, it looks like the Datsun. Oh, he pulls up on the side of the track. The Jaguar gets by. Now let's see if he will finish. He does, and the Jaguar project goes up 1-0. There's the Datsun. Got a tire off the track, so swap them and run Heat 2. Down they go. This is Your Nightmare Racing's Datsun. He gets through 1. He gets through 2, a little struggling. He gets through 3, and he will take the second heat. So we're tired up 1-0. The Datsun the first down this time. He gets through 1 successfully, through 2 successfully. If he can finish, he will advance. And he does not. He comes off the track, and the Jaguar will advance to the next round. Next up, Taiwan Sandy Max Ford GT40 and Dirty Deeb's 63 Studebaker. Studebaker gets tied up with the GT40, and it's slowed him down enough that the GT40 is going to finish the first heat and take it 1-0. We change sides, and here we go. Into the corner again. The GT40 comes out of the corner. Slides a little bit coming out of 2, but he will advance 2-0 over the Studebaker as the Studebaker got hung up after turn 1. Here's the sidekick of Kaboom Racing and JX4's Lancer Evo. Down they go around the corner. The sidekick has the lead out of turn 1. Out of turn 2, slides just a little bit, but he will take 3 and go over the Lancer 1-0. We swap sides, and here we go. This time the sidekick is into corner 1 first. He hits hard and comes down to corner 2 through it. And looks like if he can... No, wait! The Lancer with a last-minute burst of speed, able to tie things up 1-1, and here we go again. They're bouncing back and forth. The sidekick and the Lancer passes him. JX4's Lancer is going to advance over the sidekick of Kaboom Racing. Next up, Mrs. BFG's Speed Bump and Po' Boy's Chevy Silverado. Down they come. The Silverados have been doing decent here. He's ahead, although he mixes it up, passes him. Speed Bump passed him, but he got back by. So now it's Silverado 1-0. Heat 2, the Speed Bump's into the curve first. He's bouncing all over the place. Of course, the Chevy's pushing too. Pushes them out of the curve, and it looks like the Speed Bump will finish and tie things up 1-1. leaving the Chevy back up in the curve. So, folks, here we go. Winner advances, loser goes home. Silverado first to the turn. Neither one of them touching. Let's see if he can finish. He's through 2. Silverado through 3, and he will finish and advance 2-1. Next up, Lily's Boneyard and her Matchbox Datsun, along with Redline Salvage and his Subaru Impreza. The Matchbox bounces around the outside, gets around 1, gets around 2. The Impreza right on their butt. But Lily is going to finish for the first heat 1-0. We swap sides. Here we go. This time the Matchbox is pushing hard on the Impreza, but they both stop. Here they start back up. You can get by him. Go, Impreza. Can he get by him? He does. He does. Yes, he does. The Subaru will tie things up 1-0. Here's the bumper heat. Into the curve. They're bouncing and bouncing. The Impreza gets by. Oh, and the Datsun just backs right off the turn, or out of the turn, off the track. The Subaru will advance, and the Matchbox Datsun is on the table. Next up, League of Speeds, Ferrari F40 and Big Poppy's Toyota AE86. The Toyota, faster than ever, through the curve first. He takes 1, he takes 2. Oh, turns over. The F40 gets around him, and he will finish to take heat 1. Not sure about that one. I think that F40's a little hot. Here they go. This time the Toyota beats him down again, sort of slows him down a little bit, but he's coming on. Let's see if the Toyota can back through the finish line. If he does, then we have a 1-1 tie, which we do. So here we go, bumper heat. Loser goes to the house. I wonder who it's going to be. The Toyota gets around, but the Ferrari passes him after he makes a mistake out of 1, and all the Ferrari has to do is finish, and League of Speed will advance on 2-1. Next up, 4114 67 Mustang Fastback and Road Rage Racing's Honda CXR or CRX. The 67 Mustang out of curve 1, out of 2, pulls up to the side, so the Honda is going to get by and win heat 1. Mustang a little hot out of turn 1. Let's change lanes and see where it happens. Mustang first in again. This time he gets through curve 1, no problem. Through curve 2. Through 3, and oh goodness, turns over. The Honda will advance. Next up, Scale Racing's Mercedes E470 and Hot Wheels Collection's Pikes Peak Tacoma. Racing hard, pushing. Oh, the Pikes Peak just sort of eased him off onto the blanket, and he's going to back through it for the first heat. This has happened more than once at this part of the track. Now we swap them and race them again. Here's heat 2. This time the E470 is all over the place, and the Pikes Peak gets ahead, and he will advance 2-0 as the top-heavy car comes off again. Next, 734 Outlaws, the Pontiac GTO and Road Rage Racing 2's VW Beetle. The Beetle out ahead. The judge trying to chase him, but will not catch him this time, so the Beetle's up 1-0. Here's heat 2. This time the GTO is, and he just comes over, hits the hard side too hard. And if the Beetle can finish, he will advance 2-0. Take around, our fella is hit the pillow and come off on the side there. Next up is Irons Diecast 12 Corvette Z06 and the Silver Streaks Porsche Carrera. They're fighting in and out. The Corvette's going to take the early lead, goes around 2. He's going to make 3 okay, and he will finish and take heat 1. Him and the Porsche got tangled up, and the Porsche couldn't get any momentum. Swap sides. Here we go. This time the Porsche shoots around him, and the Corvette will finish, but the Porsche is going to tie it up 1-1. Here we go. Last heat. Corvette's the first to the corner, gets through. Both untouched to this point. The Corvette is going to advance if he can, and he does get through 3. So the Corvette moves on. Here's Michael's Diecast Garage Jaguar and Cut Rock Racing's Shelby Silverado. Here's the Jaguar around 1 through 2, turns around, slowed down a bit, but so did the Chevy. So the Silverado is going to finish last, or if he finishes it all, he won't finish. But the Jaguar is up 1-0. We change lanes, and here we go. The Jaguar first to the curve. Hits up, pops it. He goes through 2. Looks like he's going to have it. If he comes, no, he doesn't. He goes high, and the Silverado goes around the outside to tie things up 1-1. Here's the bumper heat. They're bumping back and forth. Right now, the Silverado has the advantage. He's pushing on the Corvette, or on the Jaguar, and we've got a close one, folks. And the Silverado will advance on. Goodness. Here's 2 Lancer Evos, one belonging to the Crazy Canuck and the A-Team, and then NJ Drive Racing. They're through 1. Right now, NJ runs out. He's got the greenish color, turns over. Can he get the Crazy Canuck runs right by him, and he will take a 1-0 lead. Let's swap lanes, and here we go. Around the corner they go. Here's the one Mitsu Lancer out front, and he is going to advance on 2-0, A-Team and Crazy Canuck. Here's our next race. It's Husky King with his Super Blitzen and Pepler Racing's 77 Dodge van. Going to the first curve, the van's struggling. The Blitzen gets by, and they're both rubbing the rail a little bit. I think the Blitzen is going to win the first heat over the van. Van a little top heavy, I'm sure, because of the high center of gravity. But here we go down for race 2. This time the Super Blitzen out ahead, through 1, through 2. Dodge right on his behind, but it ain't going to matter. He's going to take it 2-0 in advance. Next up, DXP and his Ferrari F40 and G-Buggy Racing's Jaguar. The F40 the curve first, he bounces off and goes, followed by the Jaguar closely, but he slowed it down enough for him to get by, and he will take the first heat over the Jag 1-0. Here we go. Swap the lanes. Down we go. The Jaguar with a good start. Into the corner first. Into the number 2. He's going to win this if he can just stay on his feet. He does. And the F40 will advance for DXP Racing. Next up, it's Blue Line's Datsun 280 and Gut Feelings Datsun 240. So they're bouncing back and forth. And, he pushes him off the track. And the 240, if he can back across for Gut Feeling, he's gonna take the first heat. Just push the car plumb off the track. So we turn, and now let's go this way. The Datsun through the first curve, Datsun through the second curve. No, he doesn't. He goes off the track. Too much weight, too much power to stay on the fat track. Here's Toon Tracks Racing in his 44 Pontiac Grand Prix NASCAR and down squad with a 67 Pontiac Firebird. So they're going to race back and forth, pushing and pushing. And the heavier car, the 44, is going to get around and going to win the first heat for Toon Tracks. We swap, and here we go. Heat 2, 44 is into it first, out of 1, out of 2. He gets a little sideways, but he's still able to save it if he can finish, which he does not. But neither does the Firebird. So we're going to run Heat 2 again. Down this time into the corner. Both transition through. They're bumping and rubbing. And this time the Firebird's going to get around him, and the Firebird will tie things up. 1-1. Dowd Squad Racing just tied this up 1-1 against the Toon Tracks. This time now the 44 Grand Prix is out front. He's around 1. They're fighting. He fights the Firebird off. And Toon Tracks and his 44 Pontiac Grand Prix will advance 2-1. Hot Car Track has a Kia Stinger, and Nick Devers has his Ferrari F40. This ought to be a good race. The F40's out front. Push the Kia into the side rail. He's through 2, through 3, and the Nick Devers will take the first heat, 1-0. Swap lanes, here we go. This time the Kia is the first to the curve. He's through 2. But he turns around and slows. Will the Ferrari get around him? No. Oh, actually he pushes him off the track and finishes to advance 2-0. Here's Arlo's Racing Ford Crown Vic and R&R Rhett with his Monte Carlo Concept. This is the last race of the first round. Concept is pushing on the Crown Vic, and the Crown Vic, no, neither one are going to make it. We're going to have to restart this again. Here we go. Both of these are heavy cars. It'll just be interesting to see how they come through this. Through 1, through 2. The Grand Prix Monte Carlo Concept will take Heat 1 for R&R Rhett, 1-0. We swap lanes. This time the Crown Vic takes off. Through 1, through 2, and through 3, and it will win. Just to make sure, yep, it will win. Heat 2. So we've got a 1-1 tie. Loser goes home. Winner advances. Here we go into the push. Oh, the Monte Carlo just pushed the Crown Vic up on its edge. It's through 2. Here's 3, and the Monte Carlo will advance to the next round. As you can see, the Crown Vic coming on, but just too much rubbing for him to get through. So we're done with round 1. So let's go to round 2. We're down to 32 cars, which are 16 races. Here's the groupings as we look through them. Got some good races coming here. I'm just going to guarantee it. Very exciting couple of days in doing all this racing. Wondered a little bit if we were going to make it through, but we did. Finished the entire event. My plans are to have this ready in a day or two, and then we'll have the other ready at the end. Here's the Lady of Speed with her Aston Martin Vantage, and Houston Hustlers, or H-Town Hustlers, sidekick. Lady of Speed around. Turn 1, around 2, knocks the sidekick off. Gives Mike a little push. So the Lady of Speed's going to be up 1-0 as they change lanes. Her Vantage has always been fast. It's the first out of 1. Turns around going into 2. Does navigate it, now moving backwards down the track, but she will advance 2 on to the next round. Next, teaming DRTK 3's Turbulence and Captain K's Honda Sprocket. Into 1, the Sprocket pushes up. The Turbulence just pushing on that Honda. Who's going to get there first? Through 3, the Sprocket will take the first heat. Closely contention between the two cars. This time, the Turbulence is going to get to the turn and fights the Sprocket. But the Sprocket, out of 2, the Sprocket pushes him into a spin and off the track, so the Sprocket advances 2-0. Here's Big Rami's Dodge Murata and WB's Jackhammer. Dodge Murata through 1, turns around. Jackhammer hit on him a little bit, but he's getting through 3. Oh, the Jackhammer swings by on the top and takes a 1-0 lead. Swap, and here we go, heat 2. Down the track, the Murata and the Jackhammer both fighting hard for this. The Murata in the lead around 2 is going to make 3, and it will advance, or at least tie it up 1-0 as the Jackhammer got hung up after 2. We swap, and here's the rubber heat. They're swapping, pushing paint. The Murata gets by him. The Jackhammer tries to go high, fights, trying to get by him, but he cannot get by the Murata, and it advances. Next is Troy Racing's Power Rocket and Mr. Mon Bubba and his Mercedes. Mercedes the first to the curve, through 1, through 2. The Power Rocket comes off the side, and the Mercedes will take the first heat. Here we go, swapping heat 2. Down they go. The Mercedes through 1, Mercedes through 2. Now he goes off the edge. A lot of power. These guys are having issues. The big cars are 1-1, and this is the rubber heat. We go. They're pushing. The Rocket gets by. Yeah, finally, and he is going to upset the Mercedes as the Power Rocket moves on to the next round. Here's Rivera's Racing's Dodge Murata and Rio Ride's 15 Ford Mustang. The Murata's ending up in the same bracket just because of seating. Oh, the Mustang gets by, and it will take a 1-0 lead over the Murata, which will not finish, I don't think. Well, it will, but no, it didn't. So we've got a 1-0 for the Mustang. We swap, and here we go. The Murata the first out, first through the curve. He's through 1. He turns going into 2, but the Mustang gives him a little kick through 2. And this time, if the Murata can manage it, he will back over and tie things up 1-1. Mustang left back where he hit the Murata. So this is it, folks. Loser goes home. The Murata's the first to the curve, gets around. The Mustang right on his tail. Mustang loses it before 2. The Murata gets to 2, 3, and it will advance on 2-1 over the Mustang of Rio Rides. Next up, Mr. BFG's Ferrari F40 and Gen X's Ferrari Modena. Ooh, they push. The F40 gets around and is going to finish first. Here comes the Modena. She got turned for little loop and a little late getting back. So here we go with race 2. The Ferrari, again, pushes it to the side, and it will finish 2-0 as Medina comes rolling second. Here's Aces High 2020 Jaguar F-Type and Sandy Mac's Ford GT40. The GT40 to the curve first. They both maneuver no problems. Here's through 2. Sandy does a flip and is going down the track backwards and will advance, I think, on 1-0 as the Jaguar is just not able to get to the finish line. So we'll reverse him and go to 2. This time the GT40 still first to the curve. Through 1, through 2. Tries to turn around but stays straight this time. And Sandy Mac will advance on with the GT40 2-0. Here we go. Here's JX4's Lancer and Po Boy's Silverado. The Silverado, the first in, gets out of 1, gets into 2. Nice driving by Po Boy. And it's going to fly to the first one. Going to take the first heat 1-0. We'll swap and take a second look at it. This time the Lancer gets to the corner first. Swings around. Oh, nice pass by the Chevy Silverado. He is going to fly past in 2-0. Will advance on. Here's Red Pills, front running Fairmont, and Red Line Salvage's Imprenza. Fairmont first to the curve, does a little dancing around. The Imprenza doesn't waste time to the inside, goes around 2, goes around 3, and the Imprenza will take a 1-0 lead over the Ford Fairmont. We swap lanes, and here we go. Ford Fairmont first to the curve. This time he maneuvers through, no problem. Goes around 2, no problem. Hitting them hard, though. 3, and it will tie things 1-1 as we swap them and go for the rubber match. Winner advances, loser goes home. Front running Fairmont through 1, through 2. If he can navigate 3, he will advance 2-1 over the Imprenza. Next up, League of Speed and his F40, Road Rage Racing's Honda CRX. The F40 through 1, through 2, just staying close enough, and he will advance on, or at least take the win 1-0. We swap lanes, and here we go. The F40 first to the curve, through 1, through 2. Stays like he is. He's going to advance 2-0 over the Honda. Next up, it's my Hot Wheels collection. He's got that Pikes Peak Tacoma and Road Rage Racing 2's VW Beetle. The Beetle out to the early lead, goes around 2, swings around, and the Beetle's going to back over the line and go up 1-0 on the Tacoma, who wasn't able to finish. So we swap. Here's Heat 2. Down they go. The Tacoma with a little bit of lead. He gets through 1 first. They both navigate 2, no problem. Coming into 3, and the Tacoma will now tie it up 1-1, and here we go with the rubber match. This time the VW Beetle's out front. He goes down, round, they're pushing and shoving. This time the Tacoma's going to get by him, and if he can keep him behind him, he is, and he will advance on 2-1. Next up, Irons Diecast, Corvette Z06, and Cut Rot Racing's Chevy Silverado. Man, the Silverados are doing a super job. He's around 2, around 3, and it's like if nothing touches them, they're hard to beat. So he's up 1-0. This time the Corvette's the first to the curve. Gets through 1, gets through 2, and 3. And we're going to tie this bad boy up 1-1 right now. So here we go. Winner goes home. Or winner advances, loser goes home. The Silverado through 2. And I don't think he's going to get touched. No. And he will advance on 2-1 over the Corvette. Here's Mr. Mom's Corvette and A-Team's Lancer Evo. Mr. Mom just sort of gives him a shove off onto the pillar. And the Corvette will take Heat 1. Corvette's a heavy matchbox. Here we go into 2. Again, Mr. Mom with the early lead around 2. He's up on the track, comes back on the track through 3, and he will advance on 2-0. Here's Husky King Super Blitzen and DXP's F40. The F40 with the early lead around 1 into 2. Comes through good well, through 3, and the F40 will take a 1-0 lead over the Super Blitzen as we do the swap and go with Heat 2. This time the Super Blitzen's into the curve first and going to hold the Ferrari off, but he spins around. Now the question is, can he finish? Which he will, so we've tied things up 1-1. Here comes the Ferrari. And we are going to the rubber heat. Winner advances. Loser goes home. Their Ferrari's in first. They're side by side. Here they go through 2. The Ferrari's got it. If he can stay level, he does, and he will advance 2-1. Next up, here's Gut Feelings Datsun 240 and Toon Tracks Racing's 44 Grand Prix stock car. Much heavier than that Datsun. Through 1, through 2. If Toon Tracks can keep it on the road, he will take a lead 1-0. Here comes the Datsun. So now we swap and go to lane 2. Heat 2, here we go. The 44 Grand Prix beyond. There's 1, there's 2. He's got it if he can stay on the track. He does, and he will advance 2-0. Next up, here's Nick Deaver's F40 and Rhett's Monte Carlo Concept. This is the last race of round 2. The Monte Carlo Concept is in first. And loses it. The Ferrari comes by and passes between 2 and 3 and will take a 1-0 lead. Nick Devers. Wicked here. Look at him jumping out now. And he's not even going to be close if he stays on the track, which it will not be. And he will advance on 2-0 over the Monte Carlo Concept. So we're down to round 3. Here's 16 cars, 8 races. The winners will represent the yellow bracket as the Big 8. Got some pretty good cars and some pretty good racing coming, folks. Let's start it up. Lady of Speed in their Aston Martin Vantage against Captain K in his Honda Sprocket. Here they go into the curve. The Aston Martin gets out ahead, a little sideways. Oh, nice pass by the Sprocket. Through 2, through 3, and it's going to take the first heat over the Aston Martin. Both cars swap the lanes. Here we go. Aston Martin into the curve first. He's through 1. She's through 2. She's through 3. And she will take heat 2. So we're tied up. Swapping around. Here we go again. We're into it. They're side by side through the corner. The Aston Martin rubs the car. Oh, no, he's come over sideways. And nobody's going to finish. Oh, goodness. Both had the chance to finish, so we're going to rerun this last heat. The winner advances, pushing and shoving and pushing the Honda Sprocket out of 2, out of 3, and it will advance 2-1 over Lady of Speed. Here's Big Rami and that Murata, Troy Team Racing and his Power Rocket. The Murata's through 1, comes on the side of the track, stays on the track, able to get through 2, through 3, and the Murata will take the early lead 1-0. Here we do the swap, and here we go. Heat 2. This time the Murata's the first to the curve. They bounce back and forth. The Rocket tries to get by. Murata goes high, but then the Rocket goes low. Nice pass by the Power Rocket. Troy Racing doing a great bit of driving, tying things up 1-1 as we get to the last heat here. Rubber match or rubber heat. This time the Murata takes an early lead out of 1, and I don't think it's going to let it. Well, here comes the Rocket. Just can't get by. The Murata moves on. Here's Rivera Racing in their Dodge Murata against Mr. BFG in the Ferrari F40. The Murata out to an early lead out of 2. Turns around, going backwards down the track. Here comes the Ferrari, but not fast enough as the Murata takes a 1-0 lead. We do the swap, and down we go. The Murata again, the first out of 2. The Ferrari trying to find a spot to pass, just can't find it, and the Murata advances on 2-0. Here's Taiwan on Sandy Mack, the Ford GT40, and Po' Boy and his Silverado. Silverado with the early lead through 1. These trucks are doing nice. Oh, he turns around, but the GT40 doesn't take the advantage to do it, and now it's 1-0 pickup. Here's the GT40 now with purpose out of 1, out of 2. Don't think it's going to get caught if it can stay, and it does. It finishes, and we tie things up 1-1. So now it's the rubber match. We swap, and here we go. Who's going to advance on? Here's the Chevrolet Silverado in front. The GT40 looking for a place to pass. Nowhere to pass. It does pass. Oh, no. Look at that, folks. The Silverado will advance on, leaves the Ford's wheels spinning. Goodness gracious, what a race. Here's Red Pills, front-running Fairmont and League of Speed with the F40. Down the track they go. Fairmont in the lead early, hits hard and bounces around, turns over out of 3. Will he get by? He does. The Ferrari cautiously pulls by and wins the first heat. Here's the swap. Fairmont first to the curve. Going to get through one, get to two. He hits that curve hard, comes out, loses control. The Ferrari comes by on the bottom. League of Speed and his Ferrari F40 has upset the Fairmont and will move on. Here's next, Hot Wheel Collection. They're Tacoma and Cut Rock Racing in his Silverado. But that Silverado is not going to be caught, folks. 1, 2, 3. Wow. The Silverados seem to have it in for this track. One up so far. Here we go. This time the Tacoma gets ahead out of one. Out of two. The Silverado says, nope, passing. And he advances on 2-0. Here's Mr. Mom Joe and his Corvette against DXP Racing and his F40. Down they go. Bouncing, pushing, rubbing. Through the first, the Corvette comes out of 2 ahead. If he can stay on the track, and he's got the momentum, and he will take Heat 1. So DXP is going to one up right now on the Corvette. They swap lanes, and here we go. The Corvette now ahead, going into 2, coming out. A little bouncing back and forth. Out of 3, turns over, and the Ferrari will come by winning 2-0. Well, last race for the Big 8. Here's Toon Tracks and the Grand Prix versus Nick Devers and his F40. They're fighting. The F40 gets by, pushes by, and now the Grand Prix is going to push and push, but he pushes the F40 around the curve. Nick Devers will go up 1-0 on Toon Tracks. Here we go. Swap, and down we go. This time the Grand Prix gets to the corner first. He's through 1. He's through 2. Turns over. Can the Ferrari get by him? He does. He pushes by him. If Nick Devers finishes, he advances to the final 8, and he does. What a final we've got coming. I hope to have it up Monday night.
This has been a Big Poppy Racing production.